gross it was, and me going through can. I mean, it was just for most people that was the inline with him. You know what I mean? And then they all know it's like someone work with him things. They know that every time he gets around to a chick or a clerk, it's always store clerks. It's always like quote me to get by with shit, whatever. But always store clerks, grocery workers, that type of shit, right? Especially right now where he works and everything, or on his way back and forth home, blah blah blah. But the thing is they know the routine. It's always Jody Sue's a bitch. Jody Sue doesn't do this. Jody Sue doesn't test to have a bad guy. He always makes the same story. Always, it's always the same shit. And none of these bitches stop thinking, well, who the fuck is taking care of this? Who the fuck is making it? Who the fuck is doing all this shit? And if all your money's gone, then how are you the one making the car payments? How are you doing it? Because he wasn't. I was, you know. But he made sure in that way to wrap it up, didn't make it look like he was doing everything for everybody else, but all his money went fucking elsewhere. And it's the same story over and over again. He always has to have a bad guy. And he always has to. It's just
well, and think about this. He got together with you when you were so young. He had plenty of time to sort of train you into the position that he wanted you in. And even when you're a strong person, you still there are limits that sit up around you that you don't feel you can get past. And when you're a child, and I mean, to me, anything under 18, 19, you are a child.
In ways, mentally, I was way beyond him, but it was still red flags. I mean, nobody around here locally, the kids went to school with mutuals, all that. They kind of used him for the car and all the other things around him, but nobody really, not to be right. This and other. Everybody kind of had red flags.
Yeah, but you're a kid. You're inexperienced, and you're thinking with a different kind of brain. We all know that kids mature at different ages. You were definitely ahead of your peers in some ways, but
not in physicality, not other ways. But I just felt this other broken creature. But it was something.
So you were wanting to help heal him?
First days that we ever got around each other, it was always Jody Sue and he would make me wait and tell me he was coming back, whatever, and that way I wouldn't go out anywhere, do anything, right? But I'd sit there and I'd wait, and he would never show up because guess what? He was out seeing in case and back in the wings, right? And that's what he's done the entire relationship, and it's what he always does, And it was like, and he'd always chase me he'd always train me to where it was like a chase, right? Leave you so wrapped up, you had to go find them for food or find them for whatever needs you and the kid needed. So then it was a level of forgiveness or, oh, well, she must enjoy the and, well, here, look at this. It's kind of like me, it's an abusive way of, it's with the people and the favors and the honk and shit and all that crap.
Yeah.
When that happens and you have to do that cursory, where the fuck are we at? It helps set the flip script in a way up, because even though I didn't hear he wasn't, nobody knew it because I didn't really have any witnesses on his phone and all this other shit, but he's finding me out alone. He's coming to the house alone far longer than Supply, Ellie, everybody else know. And it's, oh no, it's fine. I just need time. It's fine, Sue. Love you, whatever. It's in the car, but New Supply thinks that I took. He actually brought it back to me. It's all this shit, and then they've got New Supply believing that I'm the one that's crazy. I'm the one that's lying, and it's just and it's like half the shit around. Somewhere everybody's lying about it. It's just to protect New Supplies and their real faces, and I'm not to have to take masks off.
Right.
And that's very
quite valuable, when it comes to people in public. Oh, I remember when those idiots were at the bottom of the driveway at Candace and Don's, and the older neighbor drove up and said, "You're bothering my mother-in-law," right? And they were asking about you, and he waves into the distance, "Oh, he got rid of her a long time ago," kind of a thing. And everyone's like, and I was thinking,
he said these two don't like these two, they don't get along. Even though at that time I knew that there were still and then he goes, "Oh no, that one's gone." And then it was like,
he got rid of her, kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, and then here's this whole piece about this gun in this instance. It's never happened. I was like, what the fuck, Sharfie? What the fuck? That never happened, man.
Just that mentality of like, oh no, he's the one that got run off. Like,
yeah, but the thing, well, it wasn't necessarily what this place wanted, right? But here's the thing. And also there could be purposeful reasons behind other shit going on Hawkins that was said about me that was whispered in that one's ear to whisper that out when Drain the Well Dry and all them were obviously on certain dates. And I don't doubt that one bit either. However, at the same time, I knew phones, all them were coming in, etc. And I knew they were going to get taken for a ride by Fred. I tried to warn her, I was like, whatever the fuck. And I didn't care because I thought, well, okay, I'll let the Sharfie thing go mostly because I thought it was their protecting the neighborhood, protecting others in there, making sure they went the fuck on. I didn't care if I stood or whatever, just as long as my neighbors. And everything, including my neighbor that, cared about greatly that just passed away. Like, I wanted them protected at, all costs from this type of shit in Gratitude Pimpville. And even if that meant a line stood about me, then so be it. But so I didn't mind, just like I still phones, fake ones, come on now.
Well, good. And I have to say, like,
foul feelings. Fred knows. There's no issues there. Even though the pool shit and all it comes from Fred, it's like, fuck it, I don't care. You know?
Well, everybody has their good and bad, that's for sure. But you shouldn't have to defend all your relationships either, because what does that have to do with anything? I mean, these people were pulling out every single thing. Don't we think that LE has already, at least, if they don't have knowledge of who these people are, they probably do by now. They did, though. You say the name Sharfie, they know who Sharfie is. They know where everyone lived. They were the cop calls. They were part of all of the trauma and drama on the Hill that they saw. One thing that really struck me.
See, Big Sharfie. right here
Right.
beside of him now, right? His girlfriend lives in there.
Yeah,
And
right. Okay.
but Therapy is friends or was in circles prior to firings and things like that of friends for LE and fire departments and et cetera, but I never really had a conversation with the dude ever. I've had him with his girlfriend, all that. So there was never any real contact between Sheriff and I. So for him, but then later on, you're like, okay, well, who whispered in his ex LE fired ass's ear to say that? Or was that Molly go during the well dry paying him because they pay everybody?
Yeah.
Or is that because they're trying to protect and make
Well,
attention?
that's what I thought of almost immediately is like aim the angst at somebody else so it doesn't come back at you, right? And
Yeah.
probably a lot of people in that area were thinking the same thing. Like, I don't want the poor footprint guy. My God, like I've never heard his name. I never want him. Hey, do not mention that man's name. You do that all the time and it's wrong. So stop. Nope, stop.
Well,
And
not just his name, but other neighbors, and I know they want to be left alone. They've asked publicly be left the hold the fuck alone. I know,
exactly.
and look, there's only so many left that can be used on a witness stand, right, or in a court proceeding that
That
have the
that's
best reputation and that will be used for that. And they need to remain untouched and left the fuck alone.
right. But do you think they're going to let that happen if they have the chance to dig them out? I don't think so. Things that I was
I
kind of
think that
shocked about.
certain neighbors they're trying to dig out will kick them whole ass the fuck up off a porch somewhere if they keep trying to get a hold of them. Is what I think.
Well, there was a huge drive when I was still in the group we had been talking about where they were researching, and one of the things they were researching is who owned every single property in that area, and saying like, well, we had a local drive us around where everybody lives, and we know this stuff, but we can't tell you this stuff because we want to keep the person's privacy. But then, of course, it all came out because the people who were showing them didn't have that same type of um, interest in keeping things quiet. They thought it was pretty cool that everybody knew everything now.
But the problem is that it's like this place from beginning. Things may be on certain properties, but who's there, if anyone, and who actually
Right.
has control of who's doing what on those properties is entirely different.
Yeah.
And even the locals don't know in kind of the underground issue or
Or
the
like you're personally friends or have a connection.
in some of these they're using as quote the locals are a
Mhm.
bunch of jokes.
Well, you and I talked about somebody the other day who decided they were going to present as being somebody who knew everything and hosted people and the whole stupid thing like it was a tour guide. What the hell's the purpose of that when you're talking about human beings?
Not that Jennifer's done that,
Yeah.
have etc. But see, they don't really know the fucking nuances of everything. They don't know them. They just look. It's
Well, anybody with a background like they say they have would know the difference between just like outing somebody's name as you drive by the driveway and actually providing real personal information about somebody to another person that you don't even know what their purpose is. You don't know what they're going to do with it. Like you don't just hand out. I mean, how would we all feel if our employers just said, "Oh yeah, whatever you want to know, you just go in the office and pick it all out of the file cabinet. You can know all you want to know about that person." It's not right, and our society is trying to stop it from happening. Oh, but it doesn't always succeed. Yeah, Mountain Cat. I'm sure for a fact the tour guide got a lot more out of it than even just money. I think it was a notoriety thing, and it was also because there was originally
that she wasn't gonna play the recordings from eons ago of stuff because it would get Monster in trouble with court and order, and this bitch would put him in jail. And it's because he was working with him and giving him shit to try to help torment
exactly.
and meanwhile, he's going by here in real life. He's really continuing to have contact with my family. He's really pushing himself back into my son's life, who fucking hates him, who he knows he can manipulate and make him say whatever the fuck because he doesn't want to displease anybody. And that if he can push far enough, it separates my son from who he sees as a father figure. But he's went and weaseled himself right around people on purpose. He literally fucking job beside one of my family members' houses and where they're always at in order to force contact.
Oh my
Then
God.
and he knew that's where my son was. And it's like people that hear these phone calls, oh shit, they think, but it's actually my son being